Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I'm spiritual medium, psychotherapist, and author Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything on March 26, 2026. How's everybody doing? Have you had enough of everything already? Has it been one of those weeks? Let me say hi to a few people because I have, as usual, lots to say. And we're going to be talking about dreams tonight, really one of my very favorite topics. And I had a really amazing dream last night that I am going to share with everybody. So let me say hi to a few folks, and then I'm going to jump into the astrology because I do have something really important to talk about with the astrology of what's going on with this huge transformation that's about to take place, and it is taking place. So hi, Patty. She says, I had vivid dreams lately, most of them uncomfortable. Vivid dreams can be. They're almost all situational. I'm glad you talked about that, Patty, because I am going to talk about some dreams are situational, and just like anxiety, some of that could be situational. And then some dreams are not situational. So here we go. We'll cover a lot of things here. Hi, Melissa. You only dream 3 times and that's it? Well, I bet you dream much more than that. You probably just can't recall any of them. So hi, Leslie. That was a very powerful show that Shirley and I did on Grief on Tuesday. And if you get a chance, watch Psychology and the Soul. It's every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific time. And Dr. Shirley Impellizzeri and I, psychologyandthesoul.com. Together, we have a really wonderful synergy. We've been friends and colleagues for 25 years 25 years. So it's a wonderful work. Shirley and I love to work together, and we'd have lots of deep conversations. So, hey, Dee from Chicago, she says, I hate when we're deep in a dream and suddenly I wake up to question reality, forgetting some of the dream. Absolutely, that happens. And I'm going to talk about that. Hi, Michelle from Snowy Owl Intuitive. Hi, Kellee. She says, I love this topic on dreams. I've been amazed how crazy mine have been lately. Thank you for all you do. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Thank you for all you do. Well, I bet a lot of people are having deep, possibly bizarre dreams that may not make any sense to them. So I'll help explain everything that I can to help you understand the dreaming aspect and what your psyche's trying to tell you. Or is it a message from the other side? That happens as well. So hi, Renee. She says, beautiful blessings. She said, something new for me when I begin to dream is a feeling of falling, and then the dream occurs. Oh, wow. Okay, I would love to know if others are experiencing that too right now. So if you are, let us know in the comments. If you, the dream, so it says that she begins to dream and it's a feeling of falling, and then the dream occurs. So kind of like getting yourself into another energy space, really, for that. That's very great, Renee. Fabulous. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Renee. So a lot of your dreams involve flooding or bathrooms. Lots of emotions there to uncover and unpack. Whenever you're dreaming about water's emotion. And in a bathroom, like what aspect has to be cleaned up, what aspect you have to look at. And flooding is like a bunch of emotions, so that's fantastic. Hi, Sasha. She says, Kellee, thanks for your words of wisdom. Dreams are truly an amazing way to seek insights. Absolutely, of how our own emotional and conscious being, how we are. Absolutely. Dreams are so important if you can remember them. It's so important. It always brings us something to consider, or some way to look at something, or something that's been bothering us. It brings it up, something so we can look at it. Hi, Gayla. Hi, Frank. I read your text, Frank, but I didn't have a chance to get into it. It's been a busy day, very busy day. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Lee. Hi, Patty. Hi, Marge. Hi, Isabel. Sweet cherry wine. I love that. Leslie goes, I'm already exhausted. Hi, Elizabeth Preston. How are you, sweetheart? Hey, Vera from Canada. Hey, Carlene and Vivian I love everybody from Canada. Hey, Kim Ann. Ralph says, I'm seeing lots of clear water Okay, that's a good thing. And the true ugliness of a particular person I don't want in my life, meaning he's dressed as a grotesque clown. Well, if that comes out in a dream, then it'd be something to certainly talk about. Oh hey, Christy. So let me get into the astrology, and then we'll go right into dreams because I think it's the astrology is really important here. Well, and the first thing I want to talk about is I mentioned this on the other show I do on Tuesday nights with Shirley. I'm sure you guys have been hearing about those meteors, the meteors that are coming in. There was a large daytime meteor on March 17th, and that was from Ohio and Pennsylvania. There were a couple few, or one on March 23rd and 24th from California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington, and they reported this bright multi-state fireball, also including vivid green of a meteor. And then there was a fireball on March 24th and 25th spotted over Michigan and southern Wisconsin. That's where I am. I thought that was interesting. So all of a sudden, we're seeing a lot of meteors. Why is that? So meteors represent a personal transformation. Now, so many of us, so many people, day in and day out, I'm hearing about their personal transformations, whether it's getting a divorce, whether it is getting married, whether it's losing your job, whether it's moving. I have more people, my closest friends are moving. Lots of change, lots of transformation here. Life is about a constant change and constant growth, particularly in the time period that we're in right now. It's like going to push us and push us and push us to grow and expand. This is why our soul is here on earth. So meteors are considered, if you will, dynamic stones of transformation. And in fact, if you ever go to a crystal shop or a crystal fair or whatever, and you see a little piece of a meteorite, you might not want to pick it up, only because the energy might feel like uncomfortable for you, because the stone of meteorite means transformation. And I remember being particularly in Shauna's store in Burbank last year, I think it was. And I remember walking over to I saw it, wanted to pick it up, and I was like, I don't think so. It was so triggering about transformation. I was like, nah, been there, done that. I don't need that right now. So I didn't touch it. But that's what all of this is. And it's going over certain parts of the world. In the United States, I think we're going to see big changes, because when meteors appear like this, and especially in like the last every day, it seems, it suggests to shed the old energies, and it's going to release a lot of emotional burdens, and it's going to help people, if you will, embrace personal evolution. So often what's common when you have all of these meteors too, many believe that it's like it's between our world and the spiritual realm, just like during the Halloween and November 1st, like that spiritual realm, the veil, something about the meteors that bring that energy on. So you might have a sudden insight or sudden wisdom comes, or some sort of flash of something comes, because again, your soul on earth is to wake up and to remember that you're a soul having this great transformative experience on earth through some challenging situations. And everybody on earth is going to have challenging situations. This is why we come to earth. We don't sign up for yippity skippity. I wish, but we don't. We come in to learn really, really, big growth experiences. So also, whenever there are meteors, they also can be viewed as signs and like divine messages. So they bring a very special power. And I just want everybody to remember that when we start hearing about them more and more, it's all about transformation. So we're all in this rhythm of transformation, of change, of great change. And what I want to talk about tonight, before I get into dreams, is we have a big transformation ahead of us. And I'll just start talking about it. Probably I'll talk about it a lot throughout the year to kind of help everybody remember this. But on March 28th, that's just in 2 days, all the way through the end, December 5th. So like we can just say pretty much to the rest of the year, K2, which is the south node, K2 will make a transit. So we have in Vedic astrology, we have celestial houses, and a planet, and the south node is considered a planet, will be making a changing celestial houses. And it's going to go into what's called the Magha Nakshatra. And it hasn't been there for 18 years. So 18 years ago, look at your life. What was going on 18 years ago? It would have been about 2008. 18 years ago. A lot happened in the world. 2008 was a very challenging year for so many things. So MAGA is represented by a throne, and it's actually ruled by K2. So the South Node is all about detachment and suppression and leaving behind material things. So K2 is the planet, they call it, of moksha, which is spiritual liberation. And it pushes us towards spiritual pursuits. So you guys are going to see things that people that you would have probably never imagined are going to start questioning things and asking questions. And we're going to start seeing more mysticism. We're going to see more spiritual pursuits, because what happens is K2, this is what K2 teaches us. It teaches us detachment from worldly illusions. And for me, in the year 2000, I had a traumatic brain injury, and I've talked about that a lot and wrote a book about it. But that was when K2 was in a similar position for me. Well, not exactly, but not too far off, because K2 just doesn't care how you feel. It just takes everything away. That is literally what happened to me. Everything was taken away. And it was a time of, I had to learn an awful lot. And it was about unconventional experiences, which is what K2 brings. And it brings you through this path of introspection. Often you will withdraw in certain situations. So it really, K2 leads us to let go of our old patterns and our old attachments and to move forward on our evolutionary path. And I think that's what the meteors represent. It's like, hello, everybody, here we come. And I really feel that this year going forward we're going to see a lot of changes. And so it's particularly potent in this nakshatra, K2 is, in Magha, because Magha is an ancestral nakshatra. And K2 itself signifies past lives and ancestors. So it amplifies this energy because it's in its own nakshatra. So this period is going to bring, and again, I'm talking about now, basically, through close to the end of the year. It's going to bring about a challenge to global leaders. It's going to be some form of global reset. It will look like the destruction of all the old patterns, which we're already seeing anyway. And I will call it egoist governments will probably fall and new systems will come into play. So this is the kind of thing that happens as K2 destroys the ego. Only thing K2 cares about is spirituality. So here we go. So this is going to be quite a year going forward into this. And then next week I'll be talking about the April astrology, but kind of wanted, when people say, Kellee, why are all these things happening now? I mean, it really is to lead us to this moksha, to this spiritual liberation. That's the point of being on Earth, is to really taking the spiritual road. And I think it's an incredible road, and it is the road. It's the road. So anyway, and I'll talk about the astrology next week for April. But yeah, this big time, I think, coming up, big time. Okay, so let's talk about dreams, because I have a lot to say about this. And, it's interesting. I mean, we all dream. Everybody dreams. Everybody dreams. So, when the dreams are interesting. They're really at that intersection, if you will, of psychology and neuroscience and intuition and spiritual awareness, because often we might have a dream of a loved one. But when you really begin to understand them, they become an incredibly powerful tool. And that's why I want everybody to really start to pay attention to their dreams, because it's all about self-awareness. Because remember, know thyself, breaking through all kinds of old systems that we all have created. I saw that movie the other night, One Battle After Another. That is some movie. But to me, it was just a metaphor for like, there's always a battle. You finish this one, the next one. There's another one. Life is a constant battle. We come to Earth almost to battle, but ultimately for like this liberation of spirituality. So anyway, I'm going to be talking about dreams, and I wanted to share with you a dream that I had last night that I thought was just very perfect for what I'm going through. So, first of all, I live on a farm in southern Wisconsin, and I've never seen an owl in my where I live, not really. And I love owls, and I look for them all the time, but I never see them. But last night, and I'm a really good sleeper. I am like, once I'm out, I'm out, and it's almost embarrassing. I am that good of a sleeper, and I sleep like straight through the night. Nothing wakes me up, to everybody's chagrin. I mean, I'm a deep sleeper. I just go out. I go to the other side, and God knows where I am. But anyway, last night, about 2 a.m, I woke up. I heard this owl hooting, and it was like a hoo, 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 like that. And it was so loud, it woke me up. My dogs were still asleep. Dawn was still asleep, but it woke me up. And I said, I'll be darned. So I go into the bathroom, and I'm trying to look. I don't want to wake anybody in the house up, and I'm trying to, look to see if I see this owl, because now I'm all excited. And anyway, I didn't see this owl, but I kept hearing him. So I'm going to tell you my dream from that, and I'm going to start interpreting as I go with my dream. Okay, so that was in real life. I heard the hoo, hoo, hoo. And I actually this morning was trying to find what kind of owl that makes that exact sound. And it was a great horned owl. And the great horned owl, as a totem, it symbolizes profound wisdom, intuition, and it acts as a messenger between the physical and the spiritual worlds. And it's known for its ability to help with navigating transitions or death. Now, I have a dog that has cancer, and so I just want to start with that. So I hear the owl, then I go to sleep. I go to sleep, and this was my dream. I had a dream that all of a sudden I was on an airplane. So when you're on an airplane, it's like your consciousness goes up. So I'm on an airplane, and I'm with my old boss. His name was Doug, and he was a really nice man. He died probably 25 years ago. Super nice man. And I was surprised, and I said, Doug, where are we going? And he said, we're going to Charlotte. Well, my dog's name is Charlotte. And I said, we're going to Charlotte. And then in the dream, I was trying to figure, is that like North Carolina? Like, where are we going? He goes, yeah, we're going to Charlotte. So the plane lands, and then Doug and I find ourselves we're in a hotel. And I said, Doug, I understand we're staying in this hotel, but I haven't done an expense account in a long time. Because, back in the days, I had to do a lot of expense accounts. And he said, it's okay. He said, well, you'll figure it out. You'll figure that part out of it. Well, expense accounts, it's not just financial. It's really what you value. It's what you value. And I said, okay. And then he said, I'm going to go to my room. He said, I'll see you later. He said, you're in another hotel, Kelly. And I said, I'm in another hotel. And he handed me a key, and it said on it, number 1. I said, number 1? Number 1 means I have to take care of myself. I'm number 1. I have to take care of myself. So again, I'm interpreting the dream. Now I'm interpreting it. But during the dream, I didn't interpret it, but I'm interpreting it now for you to see how I do this. So he tells me the hotel is down the road. So I start walking, and it's kind of a nice day, and I'm not upset. I'm kind of inquisitive. I wonder where this is leading me to this hotel. Okay. And then I see I know the hotel is way across the street somewhere, but in order to get there, I have to go down like a big flight of stairs, but like all made out of bricks, like an old brick. It was like an old brick foundation that I had to go down. So first of all, going downstairs or going down in a dream symbolizes a journey into your unconscious. It may explore deeper emotions, okay, and also can move into a transition into a new phase of life. and it could be letting go of things or signify reflection, something about inner examination. So I'm going down the stairs, and it was all old bricks. And I remember as I'm walking, there was like some guy there, and I said, "Am I going the right way?" He said, "Yeah, keep going. You're going the right way." And then I found a blind man's kind of a cane or kind of a stick, and he said, "Yeah, you can take that if you want. It was new. You could take it." Oh, okay. Well, old bricks represent like enduring or aspects of your life that represent stability, maybe, or unsettled business or memories. Bricks also have a lot to do with memories if you have dreams of bricks. And it felt not that I had been down this before, but it almost oddly felt like I had, but I hadn't. Well, then I start hearing in real life the owl hooting again, which wakes me up. So I now remember the whole dream because the owl is, and now I'm awake. And I was like, thank you, wise owl, because now I can remember this dream. Well, I am going down a journey, and it will be a journey of probably grief. The last time I was down this road when I lost an animal was 2017. And Don and I lost our beloved Livy. So it's a road that I am familiar with. I haven't been down this road for a while. It is grief is a personal thing that you go through. You can have others along the journey with you, but you're the one that's holding on to it. And so it was really important. It was very, very important that I could remember every aspect of this. And I thank that owl for being so loud, because I never would have ever gotten up. So. And I would have forgotten it, but it was such a powerful dream. And why Doug? I haven't seen or thought about Doug since he died. And what I did remember about my old boss, Doug, was that he loved dogs. So that was why Doug. So I thought that was sweet. So why do we forget dreams? Like, we forget dreams because the brain often doesn't encode them into the stable memory. So during like REM sleep, that's when the vivid dream occurs. The hippocampus, which is crucial for forming long-term memories, it's less active, okay? And the neurotransmitter levels are so low that dreams aren't strongly laid down there. So dreams are also often they're fragmented, or they're emotional, or they're bizarre, which makes them really harder to integrate into a waking memory. So on waking, also it's easy to get distracted. When you wake, there's a rapid shift of attention, and there's interference maybe from an alarm, or from new sensory input or thoughts. Or so finally, memory is a state dependent. I mean, the brain's retrieval cues while they're awake differ from those during a sleep. So without immediate remembering or a cue, dreams fade quickly. So again, I go back to that owl, and I was like, whoa, thank you for that. Because it was an important dream for me to be able to explain how I interpret dreams, and for you guys to start thinking about your dreams. And some of the tips to recall dreams would be: wake up slowly if you can, and stay still, okay? And try to replay the dream before moving. And that's really when this owl woke me up. It was boom, Kellee. I went right to work on this dream. I said, this is a very important dream. I need to remember this. Keep a dream journal and write whatever you remember immediately, because that sets the intention. When you set that intention and you remember before you go to sleep, it starts to happen for you. So really, set that intention. I want to remember my dreams. Linger in that transition between sleep and waking. Okay, kind of again, just you're like this, and that's when all of a sudden it can start to come to, and that helps to boost the recall. And review your notes. If you take a dream journal, if you start writing, to see if you can identify any patterns. I think that would be really important. And there's a difference between symbols in a dream and literal meaning in a dream. So in dreams, there's literal meaning. That's like straightforward, surface level content, the people, the places, the actions that you actually see and you experience as if they're real. But symbolically, that meaning is deeper. Like, again, the bricks. So when I'm working with somebody, I want to know what they've just dreamt, or what maybe a reoccurring dream or something. because I like to take it apart to see. Now, there is a classically in homeopathy, they will view it as you are every part of the dream. So often I'll interpret a dream that way as well. So symbolically, again, that carries like a deeper metaphorical significance. And that can be objects or scenarios that maybe mean emotions or needs or fears or memories. Again, those bricks, that was really something. All these bricks that I saw, lots of memories that have been created that I haven't really thought of for a long time, unconsciously, that were there. And then it can be, again, a literal dream tied to some recent events, or, you just ate dinner with a friend and maybe, that stirred something up. But a symbolic dream feels odd. Or archetypal. Or like, let's say you had a dream where you were eating with a stranger, and that might be like a hunger for connection, or it could be an integration of your personality that we need to talk about. Also, always in your dream, look at the emotional tone. So symbols can trigger strong feelings. Okay. And so you want to, what was I feeling in the dream? So in my dream that I shared, I was walking to this hotel. It was kind of a nice day. I was not scared. I was quite comfortable, just going about trying to get to the next place. There was no anxiety, no fear, nothing. It was just something I was doing. So I was glad to see that. Also in dreams, you might see repetition and patterns. So again, they might be symbolic, and that might point to some things, always being late or being afraid that you will miss something. And let's see. And there's also the visitation dreams. We talk about visitation dreams. So, and that's like versus a processing dream. So again, as a therapist and as a medium, let's say you have a dream about your father comes to visit you, or you see your father, but you had a lot of things you had to work through with your father. Is that a process dream or is that a visitation? Often it's both. You can have both. You can have the dream. A visitation dream feels like it's an encounter with somebody who's passed. For instance, last night I had this dream about Doug. I hadn't thought about this guy, Doug. He was a good manager, good boss that I had back in the day. And I mean, really back in the day, 25 years, longer than that, a long time ago. And yet it was a visit from him. Why him? I have a lot of people that passed. I remember he had a specific love for dogs. That's the only thing I can come up with. Why Doug? I have no idea. Why not Doug? So every once in a while, you'll get somebody from far away. My sister had a dream just recently about my grandmother. My grandmother has been gone since 77. And it was, as she said, it was unbelievable real. It was a visit. It was definitely a visit. So often we will have a visit, okay? And that could be with, a soul that is, there for, sometimes they will give us a clear message. Sometimes they're just sitting there staring at us. Sometimes they give us guidance. Sometimes they bring comfort. Sometimes it's specific information. But a processing dream is different. And that's where we have a situation and we're trying to process it. And it's the brain's internal work, if you will, to sort out the emotions, the memories, the problems, the learning, whatever went on that day. And your brain may use symbolism, or it might use like real narrative imagery to help you make sense of an experience. So you're trying to figure this out. And a visitation, it's a vivid sense of a presence. You had a soul there with you. And almost the continuing of that when you wake up. And it feels like such strong clarity. Feels so strong. And so that's really important. And a processing dream can feel fragmented again, or symbolic, or a lot of emotion. It can have a lot of that. So visitations, though, feel very different. It's like a calm or loving or very vivid. So everybody dreams. I know you think that, oh, I don't dream. I never dream. No, you do. You do. Again, you probably don't recall them. But you have to really, set the intention that you can recall them. I think it's really important that you do that. You learn a lot about yourself especially in the processed dreams. The processed dreams are especially, let's say you're dreaming about this powerful water. There's so much water. What emotionally is going on with you? That's what we need to talk about. So it brings us clues into your psyche. So this is a good thing. So Kim Ann writes, and I thought this was a good one. She says, I hear you're doing a dream show. Yes. She said, I've had many dreams of being in my home, my apartment, my condo. It varies, but I always find a rarely used door unlocked when it should be locked. So you're in one of your homes, and one of these doors is unlocked. Okay. It's never my real home, but on occasion, strangers have let themselves in. They don't threaten me, but I do have to throw them out. Sometimes I'm alone. What is my mind trying to tell me? Boundaries, honey. Boundaries. Boundaries, Kim Ann. It's all about boundaries, locking up boundaries. When we dream about a home or whatever, that's us. It's about setting boundaries. And that's a good one. That is a very good one. I like that. And who among us have to set boundaries? I think we all have to set boundaries. So I think that's a good one there. Okay, so let me before I forget. Let me talk about this for a second before I get into the other dreams that people have written to me. So thank you. Strengthen dream recall. If you want to be a better dreamer, set the intention before you go to bed, and all you have to do is say to yourself, I will remember my dreams. And that actually signals that to the brain to prioritize that. And maybe stay up once you wake up, like this moment, like there's movement. Stay still when you wake up. Once there's movement, it disrupts the memory. Here's what happens with me. Literally, something will wake me up in the middle of the night, and then I remember my dream. So that's another way too. If you have to get up to go to the bathroom, maybe you might remember there. Write it down. Just write it down, even if it's a fragment. Okay. So I think that's really a great thing because dreams don't shout. They kind of, well, sometimes they do. I'm telling you, that owl he was like shouting. But dreams are fascinating because it's all trying to get your attention. So try to pay attention to all of this. And before I get into the other dreams, okay, I want to share a few things that I have that are close to my heart, and that's Whispers from the Soul, my app and my community. I love this. It's a wonderful community that we've created here. And before I forget, if you are part of my app, Whispers from the Soul, this Sunday, Maggie is going to do another Qigong class for the members of my app and in that. And I think it's going to be a little later this time. It's going to be noon Eastern time. So if you are a member of that, you can just sign in and you'll see a link there and you get to take that class. She is such a great teacher. And I just love. But we also have so many things in my Whisper of the Soul. We have daily destiny cards and all this information that we have per day for you. It's just a really special place with lots of things to learn about. And we all support one another. It's very good. I just love it. And I love my 5 o'clock somewhere every other week. I just love it. I love this group that's coming in. I just love them. Everybody is so interesting and engaging and kind, which is, I really love the kindness. So I have a class on called Cosmic Origins with my very dear friend, Janelle Campbell, a wonderful medium in a channel from Australia. And this is called Awakening Your Inner Starseed. So if you feel like you don't belong here, like Earth is not your home, you may be a starseed. So join me and Janelle Campbell for a 2-hour experience. We're going to be talking about what a starseed truly is, the traits, the archetypes, cosmic origins, and then Janelle is going to do a really wonderful guided meditation to connect with your cosmic family. And then she's going to do a channeled insight from the intergalactic realm. So it's going to be really, really powerful. And then don't forget, every Tuesday, Dr. Shirley Pellizzeri and I have Psychology and the Soul. And so we're really excited. We're going to be talking about dysregulation this Tuesday, which ought to be very good. Shirley's so great with dysregulation. So it's going to be a good, really wonderful show. So, okay, now here's a question from Trisha. Trisha says, Kelly, can an evil person's soul have changed from love and light to evil? Can a soul become shredded or broken and continue lifetimes as a human with the behaviors associated with a broken soul, sociopathic behavior that never sees or recognizes, or does the soul remain pure? And so here's my take on that. I mean, it's a complicated question. I'll do my best to kind of simplify that. Souls are not broken. We come to earth, and maybe a soul in this lifetime wants to experience dark. Maybe a soul wants to experience light, because earth is a school of duality. It's about balance and duality. And that's, so when that happens, it's black and white. So maybe a soul's come in to really experience the darkest of energy, and that's a possibility. So I hope that, I mean, there are definitely sociopaths out here. There are narcissists, there are borderlines, there are sociopaths. They're all of the personality disorders and things that go on. My old mentor, Mavis Patilla, used to tell me that, especially with sociopathy, that it's the soul doesn't connect all the way in. And is that a possibility? Yeah, and maybe just to understand the darkness. Maybe that soul really wanted to understand darkness. So that's the way I view it, Trisha. I hope that helps. Okay, Melissa says, I only have dreamt 3 times. Seems odd, but okay. Because my mom snores. Oh, okay, well, that would be tough. So it's really hard. You need to be in that REM sleep state. So you've got to make sure you have a really good sleep. And it sounds like your mom is a good dreamer. So you want to let your mom keep dreaming. And I hope you get to have some dreams too, Melissa. Okay, Carlene says, I don't know what the heck I was dreaming about, but there was blood. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Remember, we talked about symbols. The one thing that stayed with me in my dream, I remember saying, but does it have to be so bloody? Weird that I remember saying that, but I can't remember anything else from the dream. Carlene, you don't need to. You don't need to, because I do recall that I was very calm. Remember, that's one of the things I say to check for. How are you in the dream? I don't do well with bloody things in real life, I bet. So dreams about blood, I want everybody to know, if you're dreaming about blood, it symbolizes intense emotional energy. Okay, it's a symbol. It's your vitality. It's your life force. Okay, I mean, really, it's passion. So you in your dream, you're saying, why does it have to be so bloody? Why do I have to have so much emotion over this? Because you do. Because clearly you have emotion over things, And so often blood in dreams reflect high levels of stress, anxiety, or feelings of being emotionally or financially drained. A lot of blood, but you were very calm in it. A lot of blood, though. So are you really that calm? Have you just turned things off? Because if things are emotional for you, should you actually be a little more, present with that, as opposed to, I'm actually doing okay, like that. It's under the surface. It tells me something else is going on there. Okay, so I hope that helps, because it has a lot to do with vitality and life force. So I hope that helps. Okay, Laura says, hi, Laura. She says, I was trying to help an elderly lady in the hospital as if they were treating her wrongly. And I kept trying to find her as they kept taking her away. I then found her, and I was wheeling her in Manhattan, New York. I was in an apartment building area as they kept trying to hide her from me. So, Laura, this is where I would view the dream as you are every aspect of the dream. Are you the elderly lady? Are you the one that has been treated wrongly? Are you the one that has you can't hide from yourself anymore? It's what I think, Laura. It's you. Okay. I mean, that's a great dream. It's an excellent dream. But that's a way to look at that. Okay. And then she has another dream, and I love this one too, Laura. I'm so glad you're paying attention to your dreams. She said, I had a lion in my house, and I was taking care of it. I kept saying it does not belong in a house, but I kept feeding it chopped meat. Then I was in my grammar school, and I forgot to sign in when I arrived, and they said everybody must sign in, and the lion was with me. So this is fabulous. And I know your birthday is April 1. You're a 7 of spades. 7 of spades is very deep, like very deep. The lion totem, when you have a dream, and your lion would definitely be your totem from early on. Lion symbolizes immense strength and courage and leadership and royalty. And it's a really powerful guide that encourages you to step into your personal power and authority. It represents the ability to overcome all challenges, Laura. So it's so great, which goes with the dream above. Like you're really stepping into your power. You're stepping into your power. So great, great dream. So Renee Went says, Kellee, most of my dreams lately have been the theme of being confrontational for some reason. I wonder what that would be. Speaking up, it means that you really have a lot to, maybe there are all these people you need to confront. That's like situational, it sounds like. So you see, notice every dream is slightly different with different ways to view them. But in this dream, it's a beaut. I'm sure you have a lot of people to confront here. And you are a 6'4", and that's a Jack of Diamonds. And Jack of Diamonds has lots of energy and very creative. Lots of energy and very creative. Charlene Miller says, this is too weird. Okay, Charlene, I love this dream. She says, I have the answer for this one. First, my former husband was doing work around my house, fixing my sink. Water, okay, I'll just say. Then I switched from my former husband to my former boyfriend doing repairs around my house. Now, I do have repairs I need done, but wow, to slip into that dream with two exes was rather shocking. Oh yeah, that'd wake you up pretty fast. So it's unfinished business, emotional unfinished business with both of them. What is it that you never got to say? What is it that needed fixing? In order for you to move through or move on. Is there what happened, Charlene? That is because it's your dream. They're trying to fix something, but it's your dream. So take responsibility into what is it that, because sinks represent water, a lot of emotions, repairs about relationships with men, repairs. There you go. So I hope that helps you, Charlene. Great dream. I had to laugh when I saw that. I thought that was a great one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Vera says, I've had a lot of dreams about people I don't know. Now, that happens a lot too. If you have dreams with people that you don't know, what is it about? How do you feel in the dream? Are you, always ask yourself how you feel in the dream. The first question, I feel alone in the world. I feel strangers all around. I feel unheard. I feel unseen. Like, ask yourself these kind of questions. Mandy says, my son Christopher and my mom came in my dream last night. Christopher passed away 5 years ago on April 13th, the same day that my grandmother passed in 1992. Oh, I got chills. So that was a visit. That's Mandy. That's extraordinary. And it was last night. I'm telling you, everybody, we're on to something. This energy that we're going through, especially with this K2 that just goes right across from the next till the end of the year. Lots of emotions will come up. Pay attention to your dreams. Lots of visits. So you had a dream that your son was there. How lovely is that? How lovely. Wow, that's amazing. So April 13th, honey, will be a big day for you. That's the day that's got that chills. I'm going to get you a card. I'm going to get you a card from James's Cards, Talking to Heaven. So let's get Talking to Heaven cards. Let's get a card out for you from your son, Christopher, and your mom. I think that's really great, Mandy. I really do. Here we go, honey, for you. They have no more earthly worries. I think they just want you to know. Look at the sunshine. Look at the sunflowers. Again, on earth is where the situations, are tough, but not on the other side. Not in what I'll call heaven. No, it's really quite extraordinary. Evie says, yeah, a lot of bizarre dreams and nightmares. So nightmares are something that we really do need to talk about. If you've had a nightmare, what does it really mean? So I can always love to take them apart. So if you can write a few of them down, we'll see. Anne says, I dreamt of my mom and she was visiting me and I was showing her my plants. Oh, Anne, I got chills. Let's get a card for you here from your mom. I am so much better now. And you were showing her your plants. How fabulous. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a great one. Showing her your plants. How you're continuing life. Oh, I think that's right. I miss my mom too. Actually, it's to be 8 years in April 7. Hard to believe. Okay, let's see. Okay, Tracy says mine are about my ex-husband. Oh my golly, that would just be like the worst. Um, yikes. So Tracy, again, unfinished business. What is it that you hadn't processed yet out? You know, that would be it. Tammy says, I've been having an odd thing happen at night. I think I'm asleep, but it feels like I'm awake all night. That happens to a lot of people, Tammy. Like I hope you're getting at least enough restful sleep with that. Laura says, I always think of plants as grounding. Yeah, oh, for sure. Okay, Isabella says, I woke up out of a deep sleep to knocking, 3 large knocks. Now, did that, so what I was saying about the owl, which were 3 loud hoots that woke me up, and then I remembered my dream. Isabella, were you dreaming when this happened? It sounds you were in a deep sleep and you had 3 large knocks. Could have been a loved one. Mostly it's a loved one that tries to get your attention, usually with those 3 loud knocks. But I'm wondering if you were dreaming. So we don't all remember our dreams. Again, it's not held in the brain long enough to recall it. And that's why you have to set the intention, Leslie, of that, of, okay, I'm going to remember my dream. And once you start to get into the habit of it, some people, for me, it's pretty much an easy thing. I've been talking about dreams and writing about my dreams for years, but it's a muscle. You can do it. You guys can do it. Okay, Christy says, I love that Earth, Wind, Fire, my favorite. I dreamt of blue and orange snakes. Okay, big ones and little ones. The little ones went into my pocket and all happened in my laundry room, no bites, just slithered. What a great dream. And so snakes mean transformation. Orange is the second chakra. So the second chakra is creativity, it's passion. It gets you. Orange also is the color to get you out in the world, and blue can be your fifth chakra, your throat chakra, uh, and I mean it gets you out in the world of changing. So big and little ones, you're making little changes, Christy, and big changes. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. Yeah, Joanne says it when I wake up, I know there's a dream, but you can't retain it. So again, wake up slowly. And I know a lot of us set alarms and we go right to the phone. I don't. I keep my phone in another room because I don't want to be disturbed. So Christy says I have so many dreams of moving. There you go, and I can never get everything unpacked. Well, Christy, you've also went through an awful lot. You lost your beloved daughter. So dreams of moving changed, but you can never get anything unpacked. I mean, there's a lot of things to unpack with that. Christy, you went through a lot. You went through a lot. You're a mother's mother. You went through a lot. Let's get you a card, honey. Okay, hold on. Remember, I love your daughter. She's so sweet. Okay, Christy, you'll love this. Remember me by the happy memories we created, and look at the little girl in there. That's for you, okay? Your daughter has so much energy. Oh boy, she is a keeper. Okay, Kellee and the Kellites, I love that. That's so sweet. Amy says, I've been on edge all week. I tell you, Amy, there's something about that. I'm not kidding. Okay, hey, Nadine. Oh my gosh, Nadine, I'm going to get you a card from the angels. How are you, Nadine in Vienna, my friend? Oh my gosh, let's get you a card, Nadine. Oh my gosh, here we go. Ooh, the truth, 99, the truth. Ooh, what do they say? The truth will set you free. There you go. That's a good card, whatever that means for you. I think that's important. Lisa says from Ohio, it was crazy. I think you're talking about the meteor. She says it sounded like a Trump bumping down the road. Wow. Yes, Tracy Hazen, it's like the Moldavite stone. It's the same thing. That very similar energy to Moldavite meteorite. It's a stone of transformation, and I remember not being able to go near that Moldavite. I felt the same way about the meteorite. The same thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay. So Kim Ann says, for years as a kid and into the 20s, I would dream I was a passenger in a car and the car goes into a lake. Okay. And fills with water. I wake up before I drown. The last time I had the car went off in a Confederation bridge. Wow. I hit the water for the first time. I made it out of the car. Okay. I entered a home. Okay. So as a kid and you were in your 20s, you were a passenger. So somebody else had control of your life. So if your cars are our vehicle in life, it's how we get around. It often is representative of who we are. And somebody else was driving. Even though you were in your 20s, where a 20-year-old would be driving, somebody else was. So you were not in charge of your own life. You went into a lake, which is deep emotions. So you really would have to be dealing with a lot of emotions at that time in your life. Okay. Leslie says, before my grandmother passed away, I had a dream I was in a room with people moving fast, busy to do something. One of them said to me, my grandmother is going to pass. And then I woke up. Okay, now that's a real message dream. That's a real message dream. You got the message. Oh, you got the message. Wow, that can be really something, right? Oh my God, that can be something. Okay, Michael says, I bought a piece of meteorite. I found out through hypnosis I'm not from here. Oh, or Michelle. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because you do QHHT. Oh, I'm sure you're not from around here. If you really, meteorite will absolutely tell you you're not from around here. Okay, so Kitty says, did I hear you say that ocean waters are going to become clean again? No, that wasn't me, Kitty. I did not say that, but I hope so. I think there'll be a lot of action in the ocean waters because of, we'll talk about that next Thursday on the astrology, because of where Neptune is. I think we'll see a lot of action in April, a lot of oh my gosh, we'll probably have a lot of storms and a lot of high seas and a lot of that. I think April's going to be quite a month again. Okay, Wanda says, why when I dream my husband is always present in my dreams but isn't really participating? It's like just knowing he is there. Yes, so I'm assuming, Wanda, your husband passed. And yes, they don't necessarily are talkers. They're observers when they come in. And sometimes they'll just kind of sit and stare. I think it's because we have free will. And so I think they have to be really mindful, and they just want to have a visit with you. And it's also, it's the way they connect. It's the way they connect. Yeah, Kim Ann, where can you find Yippity Skippity class? Exactly. I guess we missed the sheet on that. Yippity Skippity. Oh my God. Yeah, Renee says maybe the meteors are changing the ley lines. Possibly, sure. You know what, Renee? Probably to hold the energy of transformation. Hey, Ann Margaret, I got your email. I just haven't had time to respond to it yet. Hey, Scott. Hi, Scott. He says, I keep having flooding dreams. Okay, emotions, emotions, emotions. Like the room floods when my friend leaves the faucet on, or last night a tidal wave picked at my house. It was going with the wave until I hit a lever. Okay, so that's Scott, honey. God bless you. It's a lot of emotions. A lot. So what is it emotionally that you are needing to talk about, or needing to express, or needing to feel, or are you afraid of the water, meaning the emotions? You're January 26 and January 22. And that's a 5 of diamonds, which is always about the angelic realm, always. But you also come in with the King of Clubs there, and that King of Clubs means that wildly psychic, can tap into anything. I mean, it's a really great combination, Scott. So it's about, these dreams are telling me that you need a lot of emotion. You need to deal with your emotions, honey. So Ann Rogers says, I went across that bridge last August. It's so long, off topic, but it was my first time there. Oh, okay, good. So Carla, hey, Carla. I'm with Kim Ann. I want the yippity skippity, right, Carla? Maybe next time, honey. But it won't be on Earth. We'll have to go somewhere else for yippity skippity. I had yesterday where I was confronted in a meditation. I was confronted by a Chinese dragon. Ooh, that was big and scary. And then I began to grow and become gigantic and powerful and dwarf that dragon. And I stayed that way. So I guess is the growth and great change. First of all, that's amazing, Carla. So you understood the assignment. There's no such thing as fear here. Literally, you can morph into anything. And that is, a dragon is so symbolic of spirituality, deep wisdom, and you dwarfed it. I think that's extraordinary. Carla, I'll be thinking about that one. That is really true. Melissa says, is it true if you don't know your dreams, if it's in black and white? A lot of dreams are in black and white. So some dreams do come in black and white. A lot of men will dream in black and white. For whatever reason, I don't know. Ralph says it's making sense. 2008. There you go. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate you said that. Melania. Hi, Melania. My daughter's going to Europe in May and I'm worried. No, don't be worried. Actually, if you're going to try, I mean, listen, it's going to be, we see what's going on with TSA and all that. I think it's going to be really a challenge. Hopefully it'll be better by then. But don't worry. Let her go, Melania. She'll have a great trip. And her birthday's 12/12. Well, she's going to have a great trip. 12/12 is a great day. 12/12 is a 6 of clubs. Oh my gosh, she's going to be just fine. She needs to have some great experiences. It's not all doom and gloom. It just isn't. We have some amazing experiences. We have some challenging experiences. We have spiritual experiences. We have emotional experiences. Again, none of us signed up for yippity skippity. We signed up for learning all kinds of things. Let her go. She'll have a ball. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let her have a really amazing time. Okay. Oh, yes. Laura says, can I have a card from heaven from Larry? Yes, you can, Laura. Here we go. Okay, Laura. Here we go. We are soulmates. We are soulmates. There you go, Laura. I hope that helps. Lisa says, most of the time I feel more like I'm visiting people and I know somewhere else where I'm sleeping. Some mornings I wake up exhausted and I feel like I did too much while I sleep. I felt that way many times. So it sounds like you are visiting. It sounds like you're doing a lot of traveling, in your sleep. You go and visit, which is always great. Okay. Hey, Gayla. She says, well, that's amazing about the meteorite info. I actually got a necklace that had a Gibeon meteorite embedded in the drop in the shape of a star from the coworkers as a retirement gift. Okay, that's so cool. She says, because I was working in the space division of Honeywell. I never knew that about you. Gayla, that's really amazing. Oh, Gayla, and you were with me in Burbank. So did you feel that way about that other stone too, the Moldavite? I'm curious, but we are going to really head into, watch. The world gives us signs all the time. Pay attention to all the signs. Yeah, big changes all over the world right now. Yes, and it'll be continuing. Oh, Mark says, Vicki just came into my thoughts. Oh, I was just thinking about her. I think about her every day, every single day, Marge. So thank you for bringing that up. I love her, my dear friend. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Love the lipstick. Thank you. I'm a lipstick girl. Thank you. Melissa says, the first dream I had was in Chicago when I saw my grandmother. The second dream was when I slept naked. That happens. And I woke up naked and didn't know what happened. Well, I don't know. I did. And then my third dream was when I went to a church. Melissa, those are all fascinating. And I don't have time to get into those, but that's a good one. Okay. Wait, Don Miller says, I dreamt of an American goldfish in a toilet bowl, bobbing in clean water. Then it flew next to me and I held it. Oh my God. And it flew away. Well, that's a lot of transformation. I mean, an American goldfinch bird in a toilet bowl, but it was clean. That is a lot of emotions and a lot of energy with that one. I have to think about that one. It flew away. That's a good one. Yeah, Wendy says, can I have what you take to sleep? Wendy, everybody thinks that it's like, Dawn can't believe it. I don't like that. And my sister's like, whenever we have ever traveled together, Shirley, they're like, what? How is that possible? Okay. Kim Ann says, Kelly, you should put a free app on your phone called Merlin from Cornell University. I think I have that. Thank you for reminding me. I think I actually have that. I love birds. Dee says, that's amazing. We have a few great horned owls by me, and they're magical, right? Oh my gosh. Would Doug, yes, Doug. Oh, Doug, dog, Charlotte, Laura. Maybe. Oh, I got chills. Maybe. I have to think about that. That's very good. Possibly. Oh my gosh. Hey, Jen Tran, honey, I'm going to get you a card from your mom. Okay, Jen? Life is a series of choices. Choose love. She loves you, Jen. Always know how much your mom loves you. I know you just have you sent me some pictures, and I know that was not a good one. I know that was, but honey, I send a lot of love and prayers to you. Okay. Yes, Jackie Grace says, a gift of how the dream is prepping me for Charlotte's journey. 100%, Jackie. 100%. Yep. You betcha. That is something. Yeah. Maybe it is one of, you're right, Wendy. Maybe I thought about that. I thought maybe Doug is working with the animals on the Rainbow Bridge. I actually thought that. I believe it was Charlotte taking you on this journey in your dream. Could be, Laura. Could be. Oh, golly. I love the way you guys think. Laura, that was really amazing. Okay, Patricia says, you're beautiful souls, and thank you so much. You allowed me to move forward, though. Be still that through there will still be that emptiness, knowing that our loved ones are just around. Honey, absolutely. Okay, unfortunately, I have to go read. I got to read this one. Darlene says, I had a dream that I was working with Queen Elizabeth. We were walking up a hill to a town that she said she built years ago. She was dressed in ordinary clothing. We had an interesting conversation. Darlene, is that you in your royal aspect? Because if you're every part of the dream, is that you? Think like that. Okay. I know, Anne Margaret, I saw the Savannah Guthrie had the dream that her mother, that God had told her that she was in heaven or with him. I was just moved out of my mind. That poor family, that poor woman, and she was so worried that it was, her, because what she does on TV, does she bring this on? And oh my God, I've never seen fate or faith tested like this. This is a big test. She's something else. What a powerhouse. And oh, that whole family. That was amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Mark Brevard 333 are the Ascended Masters. So that's a good thing. Keep your dream journals, everybody. Pay attention. See if there's meteors out there. See what calls you. Pay attention to your dreams. Write them down. We'll continue this discussion next week. So join me with Dr. Shirley on Tuesday at Psychology in the Soul. We're going to be talking about dysregulation and who has not become dysregulated, especially in these times. So please join us. And the next Thursday, I'll be talking the full astrology. All right, everybody. Take care, my friends. Look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.